Tell them about that man.
EIB.
Tell them about that man. Tell them about that man.
EIB.
Tell them about that man.
On the cutting edge of society, day in and day out. He'll tell you the news, what's going on, and what it's all about. With talent, so much talent, it's almost hard to believe. He talks to you from New York City. Hiya Talk EIB.
Tell them about that man.
EIB.
Tell them about that man. Tell them about that man. Tell them about that man.
And to the phones we go. By the way, Doug Rice and the Cutting Edge, also known as Testicles and the Testosterones, and they're from Dallas. And they did that song way, way back. And there's so much in this show that's happened in the past 4 years. Just to try to remember it and keep track of it all is a difficult thing to do. But when you people make requests, it reminds us of things that have gone on in the past, and so we're happy to comply. Santa Monica is where we go next on the phones to Doug. Hello.
Rush, great affection from Santa Monica.
Thank you very much.
We have the most wonderful legal system in the entire world, and it's based on justice, which is, truth, guilt, and innocence. And the liberals are just pushing this aside with the whining of special interests. The Reginald Denny attempted murder case, the district attorney is now plea bargaining with the defendants. Now, on one hand, we have in the King arrest trial, when the special interests didn't have it go their way, a second trial on essentially the same issues went underway. And now, in the Reginald Denny case, to satisfy the special interests, a la Maxine Waters and so forth, they're plea bargaining these cases. In all fairness to the district attorney, who's Gil Garcetti, he said that he wouldn't accept a plea bargain unless there were substantial punishment. But my question would be, why have any plea bargaining at all if you have a sound case?
Well, now you know the answer to that question, don't you?
Yes.
I'll tell you why they did a plea bargain. It's because the very people you mention are threatening a riot. The very people you talk about are practically encouraging another riot. They are equating these two cases. These otherwise so-called responsible civil rights leaders are saying we better get what we want in both trials, or we can't promise that there's going to be peace. No justice, no peace. And so we have here an attempt to intimidate the judicial system as it's functioning out in Southern California. That's the answer to your question.
It's just really disappointing, and it really hurts to see our justice system being pushed by the whining of these special interests.
I know.
We saw Bork, and we saw Clarence Thomas, and now we're seeing this.
Did you see the Today Show yesterday morning? Maxine Waters was on. Did you hear what she said?
No, I didn't.
You'll want to be sure and see Rush, the TV show today, out at 3:30 this afternoon. You have a chance to watch it on Channel 13. Because we showed the clip and do some analysis. The final segment of yesterday's TV show, it's very powerful. But we also had the deputy mayor, a guy named Cipriani, and they both say, contrary to what we were told, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen, the verdict in the Rodney King trial, the first one that caused all this tumult out there in South Central? The burning, the looting, the stealing, the violence, the death. Wasn't it the verdict? Yeah, it was the verdict. No justice, no peace. Now, Maxine Waters just walks right past. It has nothing to do with the verdict. It's that we don't have enough money. It's that we don't have enough care. It's that we don't have enough concern and compassion. Washington's not doing enough. Ms. Waters, you won the White House. You and your gang have total control now. You go on TV to complain and moan. You're complaining about your own party. You're complaining about your own self. But I'll tell you on this show what I said to Maxine Waters on television last night. You don't need another penny in federal money to fix what's wrong with South Central Los Angeles. What you got is a poverty of values out there, not a poverty of economy. And what you need is some of these wayward men to return home and return to the fatherhood role and the responsibility that entails. Become fathers to these kids that they have sired. Put families back together back in South Central L.A. instead of promoting this new freedom and tolerance and saying that the cure for it is federal money. We have spent more money on these kinds of problems since the Great Society, and it's that free and easy and available money which is causing these moral problems to get worse, not get better. And she knows it. They're all singing a different tune out there now, folks. It was the verdict. Now it's not the verdict. Now it's that the government doesn't care. We'll be back after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hey, folks, more and more of my listeners tell me that their hot spring portable spa is one of the best investments they've ever made in themselves. After a tough day, I'm telling you, nothing is better than unwinding in the warm, swirling waters of a hot spring portable spa. Hot Spring's exclusive Moto Massage Jet moves up and down your back. I have had this Moto Massage Jet do this. I have sat in my brother's hot spring portable spa. Moto Massage Jet moved up and down my back, and I'm telling you, it was marvelous. Spa stays hot, ready to use 24 hours a day, costs only pennies a day to use, and comes with a 5-year limited warranty. Folks, you have to try it. Check your yellow pages for the dealer nearest you or call 1-800-766-4772. Take advantage of Hot Spring's special offer of no payments, no interest until summer on approved credit. See your participating Hot Springs portable spa dealer for details. Hot Spring, where America goes to relax.
Get ready for Heilig Meyer's greatest one-day sale. When is it? This Saturday only. How big is it? Over 400 stores big, and everything in every store is on sale for one day only, Saturday only. Save on living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, accessories, even appliances and electronics. Hey, there's just one rule. If it's at Heilig Meyer's, it's on sale during Heilig Meyer's greatest one-day sale, Saturday only.
We furnish America. We're Heilig Myers.
East Walnut Street downtown, a landmark drive behind the Comfort Inn Goldsboro.
The Daffodil Festival in Fremont gets underway this Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, with the official opening ceremonies. Former Miss Daffodil Queens and Little Miss Daffodil Queens and Reigning Miss Daffodil and Little Miss Daffodil, and all kinds of fun all day long. And BB&T in Fremont wants to extend to everyone an invitation to visit Fremont during the 1993 Daffodil Festival. They would also like to take an opportunity to invite everyone to visit one of their full-service branches in Fremont, Pikeville, and Eureka to experience banking and truly personal service at its best. Member FDIC.
Now it's Kleiner's 3-for-1 Fall and Winter Final Clearance. All Fall and Winter sportswear in junior, Missy, petite, and large sizes, 3 for the price of 1. Warm robes and gowns, 3 for 1. All Fall and Winter dresses, shoes, boots, and handbags, 3 for 1. Buy one item at the regular price and get 2 more of like value free. Also save on all-weather coats, London Fog, Visions, and totes, 30% off. Enjoy 3-for-1 savings on Fall and Winter fashions at Kleiner's, Wayne Plaza, 1800 block of East Ash Street, Goldsboro. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 6 p.m.
This is a test. WGBR is conducting a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency broadcast system. The broadcasters of your area, in voluntary cooperation with federal, state, and local authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by official information, news, or instructions. WGBR serves the Goldsboro operational area. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
Performing my job with flawless broadcast excellence, this is Rush Limbaugh on WGBR. We're going to get to USA Today's cover story on Can Living Kill You? The names of the healthcare task force are starting to come out. Amazingly, they are Democrats, almost all of them, and they're former congressional staffers. They're not experts in anything except bureaucracy. An amazing ruling by the judge in the Rodney King civil rights trial of the 4 cops yesterday. All that coming up, so don't go anywhere.
My wife and I went to see a marriage counselor, and he told us where to go. I'm just a good old working boy, and I don't make much dough. So when I want to get my money's worth, I know just where to go. Yeah, I know just where to go. And he was right. Sandpiper Seafood had the answer to all my wife's cooking. They served us the best food we ever had. Now me and my wife get along real fine, except that she can't keep her hands off of me. She's always pawing me like a lovesick pup. Sweetheart, will you stop that for just a second? Yeah, Sandpiper Seafood did the trick. Got my marriage back in order, and the food we had was great, but now my wife, woman, stop it. We're going to have to censor this commercial. Now, you best listen to this old boy and follow my good advice. They got what you're looking for at a price that's really nice. Yeah, Sandpiper Seafood, halfway between Goldsboro and Kinston on Highway 70 East and LaGrange. It'll save your marriage.
We're the talk of the town. 1150 WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
From ABC News, I'm Gary Nunn. Demonstrators on both sides protest in Moscow. 2 lines of mounted police separated supporters and opponents of President Boris Yeltsin today. Each side yelled insults at the other near the walls of the Kremlin. Rival demonstrations, about 1,500 former communists denounced Yeltsin as a traitor to Russia. A short distance away on the opposite side of the approach to Red Square, 2,000 people chanted support for Yeltsin as the Congress of People's Deputies met to consider impeaching him. The legislators have now adjourned, reports ABC's Mark Bauman.
For the day, it's over, but they still haven't voted on most of the important issues confronting them, so it looks like they're going to have to go into a weekend session, and they may even go into next week.
This is the latest development in a bitter power struggle pitting Yeltsin against conservatives marshaled by Parliament Chairman Ruslan Khasbulatov. Government regulators in the U.S. are trying to keep operators of commercial diet plans honest when they advertise. ABC's John Bascom reports that the Federal Trade Commission has been building files on about a dozen operations.
The FTC has been critical of various weight loss programs and the way they advertise their success. Recently, 5 programs, Diet Center, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Physicians Weight Loss Centers, and Weight Watchers, asked the FTC for national guidelines on their ads. The FTC said no, but will continue to watch their ads for accuracy.
ABC's John Bascom. Weight Watchers has issued a statement confirming that a few of its ads, which appeared between 1988 and 1990, were the subject of an FTC review for 3 years. Federal agents reportedly raided the Branch Davidian cult compound because they had evidence that David Koresh stockpiled more than $100,000 worth of assault rifles, weapon parts, and explosives. The Dallas Morning News quotes unidentified federal officials and a sealed affidavit that was the legal basis for the arrest and search warrants federal agents were trying to serve 27 days ago when the siege began. You're listening to ABC News.
Okay, we're talking with NASCAR driving champion Dale Earnhardt at the start of the Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus Flaga Winter Sweepstakes. Dale says you could win one of 19 new GM vehicles if you race to a participating GM dealership soon. The Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus oil change is guaranteed in 29 minutes or less, or the next one's free. Dale says visit your GM dealer now and win. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited. Must be U.S. resident, licensed driver 18 or older. Sweepstakes end May 15th, 1993. See dealer for guaranteed detail.
The best in America, Radio Shack.
Right now at Radio Shack, get no payments, no down payment, and no interest till June on purchases of $100 or more. Save on great values, like a fast 33 megahertz IBM-compatible Tandy computer for $899.95. A great computer for the home, including works for Windows, with over 100 ready-to-use applications, plus no payments till June. Hurry, credit offer ends March 31st.
The best in America, Radio Shack.
Offer good at participating stores and dealers.
A change at the top at IBM, no surprise. Louis Gerstner has been named chief executive, succeeding John Akers. ABC's Richard Davies reports from New York on the power shift.
The challenge facing IBM's new boss, Louis Gerstner, is immense. The company is losing millions, facing an uprising from its shareholders, and is being hit hard by a decline in demand for mainframe computers. Speaking at a news conference, Gerstner paid tribute to IBM's traditions, but promised change.
We will not hesitate to make every change necessary to meet the challenges of a very rapidly adjusting marketplace.
Gerstner, who was chairman of RJR Nabisco, comes to IBM with a reputation for toughness and cost-cutting. Analysts say under his regime, many more layoffs are likely. Richard Davies, ABC News, New York.
Amnesty International appeals for clemency for a man scheduled to die in a month in Texas for a murder committed when he was 17 years old. Deborah Jewell says that the U.S. is one of a few countries which have put juveniles to death since 1983.
If this execution does go ahead, it will be the 6th execution of a juvenile offender in the USA. It will be the 4th execution of a juvenile in Texas under its present death penalty laws.
Gary Graham is scheduled to die in Texas April 29th. Wall Street Dow Jones Industrials down 9.75 at 3451.57. This is ABC News.
Sweetie, I don't understand you.
I've got hemorrhoids.
But what did the doctor say?
For my symptoms, he said to use Preparation H ointment, and he suggested Preparation H cleansing tissues for cleansing.
Well, honey, do what he says, please. They'll help you feel better.
Okay.
The formula for Preparation H cleansing tissues was developed by a surgeon. Soothing, alcohol-free. They're pre-moistened to clean and freshen tender skin. When hemorrhoids flare up, doctors recommend Preparation H ointment. For everyday cleansing, they recommend Preparation H cleansing tissues. Use as directed.
For the ABC Information Network, I'm Gary Nunn.
Well, rain's been right on our doorstep all morning. It's been raining across much of South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee. And the rain should start sometime late this afternoon in the southern part of the region from Fayetteville, Clinton, and Southern Pines on south. Highs 55 to 60. And that rain will be overspreading the entire region this evening. Could be heavy at times later tonight. Lows 47 to 51. Rain will taper to drizzle tomorrow morning, and we could see some breaks in the clouds in the southern part of the region tomorrow afternoon. Highs 54 to 58. I'm Brian Orzel in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Brian. Right now it's 55 degrees as we return to the Rush Limbaugh Show right after this.
Here are some of today's top WGBR news stories.
Proposals are being sought for the operation of the Goldsboro-Wayne Airport, and only the weather holding up completion of the more than $200,000 Goldsboro-Wayne Airport Improvement Project. Congressman Martin Lancaster for the town meeting in Sampson County, and a Wayne Superior Court jury found an involuntary manslaughter charge against 30-year-old Philip Wayne Goff.
For details on these stories and other late-breaking news of Goldsboro and Wayne County, stay tuned to Goldsboro's very own 1150 WGBR. We're the talk of the town, 1150 WGBR.
Greetings, my friends, and welcome. I am Rush Limbaugh, master of trichonology. This is the Excellence in Broadcasting Network. I am it. The views expressed by the host on this show are right, they are correct, they are founded in truth, and it is for that reason that they are so frightening to some.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America Held Hostage. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Thank you, John Donovan. It's day 66 of the Raw Deal, the hostage crisis known as the Clinton presidency. Baba doobie. And I, of course, am Rush Limbaugh, the man demonized by the left in this country.
Live from New York, it's Open Line Friday!
That's right, folks, and it's your turn to be part of the direction the show takes on Friday. We always let callers choose the topics a little bit more freely than we normally allow. Rush, Truth, Limbaugh. sitting firmly in the Attila the Hun chair of the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. Telephone number if you want to be on the program, 1-800-282-2882. All right, Woody Allen, Mia Farrow. I couldn't care less. This is part and parcel of living in New York. If you live in New York, this is the world to you, Woody and Mia. If you're a native New Yorker, ladies and gentlemen, this is all there is. This is what's going on with Woody and me. If you're not a native New Yorker, you scratch your head and you, who cares? It's just your average run-of-the-mill child. I mean, those of us who look at aberrant lifestyles don't see any surprise at all. People might have to go, we need a survey, we need some research, we need to find out what's happened to this family. No, you don't. All you need is common sense. Well, let's go ahead. Let us play, ladies and gentlemen, our Woody Allen update theme.
You're my love, you're my angel, you're the girl of my dreams. I'd like to thank you for waiting patiently. Daddy's home.
Yeah, when?
Daddy's home to stay.
Shep and the Limelights from the 50s.
How I've waited for this moment to be by your side. Your best friend Rhoda told me you had teardrops in your eyes. Daddy's home. Daddy's home to stay.
All right, folks. Now, I have been amazed at this since it first began to happen, because this doesn't surprise me. These family situations which decay this way, I think, are predictable and shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Now, you remember when we first heard of this? Do you remember where you were when you first heard that Woody was having an affair with Suni? Ah! Where were you, ladies and gentlemen, when you were morally outraged and stunned and shocked? No, we weren't here. We were in Houston, weren't we? Didn't this come out during the Republican convention, or did it happen before that? And there was a news. When did it happen? There or before then? Right before then. Then we went down. There was some shocking news. At any rate, there were many of us in Houston who said, "Hey, this guy would be Bill Clinton's ideal domestic policy advisor. This is exactly what you get with runaway, tolerant liberalism. It's permissiveness run amok. Nothing's wrong. Do anything you want to do. Pursue freedom. Pursue hedonism. Just have a good time." This is what happens when there's no restraint, when there's no discipline, when there appears to be no sense of responsibility. And everybody said, "Oh, you can't do that. That is so cruel. To say that this one tragic occurrence in this one isolated family represents all of liberal permissiveness." So then, we all know about the situation in Pensacola, Florida, where a wacko lunatic extremist fires 3 shots into a doctor. And we had Anthony Lewis's column 3 days later, which began, "The murder of a doctor in Pensacola, Florida tells us the essential truth about most anti-abortion activists. They are religious fanatics who want to impose their version of God's word on the rest of us. For them, the end justifies any means, including violence." Well, I suggest this substitution, because there was news yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, in court. Do you know what Mia did to Suni when she found out that Suni was having an affair with Woody? She punched her, and she kicked her. She admitted it in court. She was violent to her own child. She punched her, she kicked her, and so I suggest the following substitution in the Anthony Lewis column. The punching and kicking of Suni Previn by Mia Farrow tells us the essential truth about most liberal female actresses. They are fanatics who want to impose their will on the rest of us. For them, the end justifies any means, including violence. How come we can say it about one lone gunman, some wacko lunatic fringe guy, and not say it? I would suggest to you that it is more accurate when applied to Woody and Mia, because we have the evidence. When you have total tolerance and permissiveness, when you have liberalism run amok, no checks and no balances, because with liberalism there's nothing that ever is wrong except conservatism. But no behavior is wrong. All behavior is good. All behavior is founded in freedom, and so it's all good. If anything's to blame for what happened with Woody and Mia, it's Reagan and Bush. I don't know how, but I'm sure they could make the stretch and find out. So I just think it's interesting to point out, ladies and gentlemen, that Woody and Mia symbolize and represent far more of the moral family decay in this country. And you can't say that, of course, without the liberal, tolerance, permissive crowd going, you can't say that. Why, that's unfair. That's bigoted. That's sexist. That's how can you dare. It's certainly more applicable to them than it is to say that this lone lunatic was acting on behalf of all members of the pro-life movement. And that is my take on that. There was a major, major decision by the judge yesterday in the Rodney King civil rights trial. The judge refused to allow prosecutors to question Sergeant Stacy Kuhn about racially charged comments in a draft of his 1991 book. Now, this is crucial. It is crucial for this reason. This is a civil rights violation trial. This is not an excessive force or abuse of power trial. This is a trial, once again, I go to great pains to remind you people that the prosecution here has a momentous challenge or momentous charge. What they have to do is to prove that the whole reason for the beating was that the cops, in their minds, consciously, were saying as they wielded their batons, I want to violate King's civil rights. Whack. I want to violate King's civil rights. Whack. If the defense can suggest just the slightest doubt, maybe they were just trying to subdue him. That's why they're going for the ankles and the knees. Hey, the guy kept trying to get up. Policy says the guy's not responding. All they got to do is submit the doubt. Now, the judge said earlier on in the case that the prosecutors would not be burdened with proving racism. They were not going to have to prove that. So the judge was on their side at the outset. Still, the prosecution would love to be able to get it in the jury's head that there was racism in the minds and the hearts of the four cops. Stacy Kuhn wrote a book called Presumed Guilty. And in describing what happened the night of the Rodney King beating, Kuhn wrote that King shook his buttocks at a female highway patrol officer in what Kuhn called a mandingo sexual encounter, unquote. Mandingo sexual encounter. Now, the judge refused to allow prosecutors to question Stacy Kuhn about that. Proper ruling. Big blow to the prosecutors, however. Of course, what he wrote in the book, the prosecutor's claim is highly relevant to what was in his mind at the time of the beating. The judge said, when he issued his ruling, quote, no explanation, no matter how eloquent, will fully eradicate, will fully neutralize the inflammatory testimony that Kuhn might give. And so the judge, and I'm surprised, so some of the rulings that this judge has made seem to me to have been tilted in favor of the prosecution. This clearly is a major, major assist to the defense. Now, Mandingo, just so you'll know, and you can judge for yourself whether the prosecutors are making a great leap here. Mandingo are a people in West Africa, and it's the title of a book by Kyle Onstadt. In 1975, they made Mandingo into a movie, and the key theme of the movie was slavery and interracial sex in the Old South. So the prosecution wanted to ask Coon, no doubt, what did you mean, a Mandingo sexual encounter? What did you mean when King shook his butt at the female cop? What do you mean by Mandingo sexual encounter? Now, my reading on this is, I don't know how you make racism out of that. I really, if you can't, I mean, King is black, and if he's shaking his buttocks at a female officer, and the reaction by Coon is that this looked to him like a Mandingo sexual encounter, and Mandingo happen to be a people in West Africa, and there's a movie made about a book about Mandingo, about slavery and interracial sex, and so forth. I mean, when it might have been something they could have proved. It might have been something they could have at least gotten in the minds of the jury that could indicate that this is all the evidence you need to suggest that in his mind that night was racism, and that fueled the energy that resulted in the beating. Now there's some legal analysts, of course, who said that the judge's ruling is a serious setback. One of the analysts is Luke McKissick, who is a commentator on the trial for Fox Network News. And he said, quote, the prosecutors don't have to prove race was a motive, but it certainly would help. And this would have been a knockout punch. So most people would assume that this clearly would have shown Coon to be a racist. And I would think that racism requires more than that to the kind of racism they're talking about here. I mean, if racism is noticing somebody's black, then of course I'm wrong and Coon's a racist, if that's all you have to do. But the prosecution was upset with this. They argued vigorously against the ruling, and they said that what Coon wrote in the book about this being a Mandingo sexual encounter, that line goes to the heart of Coon's credibility. So the judge threw everybody a curve. Once again, what is the bottom line of this? The bottom line, I noticed the other night on CNN that on Larry King Live, they did an update show. Somebody did a show to update everybody else on the status of the trial. I had Ira Saltzman, one of the attorneys there, John Mack from the LA Urban League, and a defense witness that day, a sergeant in the LAPD. And the thing that you've got to keep in mind if you don't want to be surprised again, as I've gone to great pains to point out to you, this is not in legal terms with the charge that the prosecution has, with the conviction they're trying to get. This is nowhere near a slam dunk. Nowhere near it. I mean, if the trial's over today, to me, you've got 4 acquittals. Bam, 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 bam. I mean, without much deliberation. Now, that's not going to be the case, because I guarantee when these jurors get in that room, they're going to say, oh, gee, what do we do? Remember now, juries can do anything. They don't have to listen to the judge. Judge can issue his instructions. They can ignore them. They can, and we'll never know what goes on in there unless they speak about it afterwards. But if the case were going to be tried or determined, the verdict were going to be determined solely on the evidence presented as it should be, to me, it's over. It's a slam dunk. But it's premature to say that. The thing isn't over. But it's important for you to note that everybody's reaction after the first term, my gosh, not guilty, how can that be? And what I have strived to do during this trial is to take you through it step by step. Every time there is something important that came out of the testimony in the defense's favor, not because I favor the defense here. And I don't want you to misunderstand that. I am not in any way conveying to you or attempting to convey one opinion or the other about what the cops did, right or wrong. I've admitted, in fact, on several previous occasions that I, like everybody else, you can't watch that tape without finally standing up saying, stop it, you just can't. But in terms of what this trial's about, I have done my level best here to keep you aware of all the things happening in the defense's favor, so that if the verdict happens to be acquittal, 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 that some in this country at least won't be surprised. May be angry, you may think a travesty of justice has taken place again, but at least you won't be surprised. You have some legal basis of understanding to explain to you why it happened. All you have to do is remember this. If in the first trial, if they had simply gone for simple assault, those guys would have been guilty and those cops would have been off the force, and everybody would have had what they wanted. But they went for an impossible conviction. They went for something tantamount to attempted murder. And they were never going to get that. We'll be back after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hello, this is Pat Robertson with some very, very exciting news. I know there are people in this country who are interested in doing two things. Number one, they want to be involved in the free enterprise system. They would like to have some supplemental income, possibly a business on their own where they weren't working for somebody else. And yet, the level of entry has been so high, they haven't been able to get in on it. I'm going to tell you about a program called American Benefits Plus that will let you participate in the free enterprise system.
Now you can go into business with no upfront costs. We're looking for leaders, managers, and trainers with entrepreneurial drive. Call 1-800-359-1226 about American Benefits Plus, the business opportunity experiencing dynamic growth with incredible media explosion and lead-sharing program coming soon. Timing is critical. Get involved now. American Benefits Plus is endorsed by Dr. Pat Robertson. Call 1-800-359-1226 24 hours. That's 1-800-359-1226.
This is Dr. Ronald Hoffman, medical doctor and nutritionist. I've been telling you about Ginsana, a revolutionary product that I recommend to many of my patients. Ginsana is the first standardized ginseng extract clinically tested for 25 years. If you get tired easily, if you've lost your competitive edge, take Ginsana. Ginsana's the all-natural ginseng capsule that's energizing America.
Ginsana at Kmart, Rite Aid, Osco, Save-On, GNC, Peoples, CVS, Eckerd, Fred Meyer, Winn-Dixie, Pathmark, and natural food stores. Or call 800-777-2000.
Get ready for Heilig Meyer's greatest one-day sale. When is it? This Saturday only. How big is it? Over 400 stores big, and everything in every store is on sale for one day only, Saturday only. Save on living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, accessories, even appliances and electronics. Hey, there's just one rule. If it's at Heilig Meyer's, it's on sale during Heilig Meyer's greatest one-day sale, Saturday only.
We furnish America. We're Heilig Myers.
East Walnut Street downtown, a landmark drive behind the Covered Inn, Goldsboro.
The people at McCall's Barbecue and Seafood, Highway 70 and 111 Goldsboro, and Highway 55 West in Mount Olive would like to say thank you. Your support of our new store in Mount Olive is greatly appreciated. Our Mount Olive store features the famous luncheon buffet and nightly buffets, plus great takeout specials too. Our store hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Just one taste is all it takes at McCall's, Highway 70 and 111 Goldsboro, and now in our new store, Highway 55 West in Mount Olive.
Ooh-wee! Serial port, parallel interface, modem, fax, RS-232, AB switcher, mouse. Why, this is confusing.
Well, stop by AIM Electronics. See the new line of computer accessories. QVS and AIM Electronics can make your computer connection simple. AIM Electronics has a new and expanded inventory of computer accessories. QVS with a complete line of computer accessories at competitive prices and AIM Electronics that you won't believe. QVS and AIM Electronics, making the right connections for you. AIM Electronics, 411 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
I could give up men, but I couldn't give up chocolate.
Share on making choices.
I have a sweet tooth, you know, but I also have a mind. There's sugar, there's the pink stuff, and there's equal. When I sit down to make a choice, I choose equal. It tastes great.
Equal, made with the great taste of NutraSweet brand sweetener and no saccharin.
I think I'm probably going to be with equal a lot longer than I am with most men.
This is Rush Limbaugh on the Talk of the Town, 1150 WGBR. Hi, welcome back. Rush Limbaugh and the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, 580 radio stations. One other thought about this whole thing of what Stacey Kuhn wrote in his book. The book was written after the fact, of course, and the judge's ruling really was that it's irrelevant to what happened that night. That's arguable, of course. But something else that's interesting, had the judge allowed it, I guarantee you that you've got the basis for an appeal right there, which they don't want. Nobody wants this case to be tried again. Everybody wants this to be the last time for this thing, and so I think they're doing quite a bit guessing. I'm guessing, wild guess here on why the ruling, or what may in part have been the judge's ruling. One other thing, too, I got a letter from a guy. This is not a bad idea. Dear Rush, you know those 90 fired attorneys, U.S. attorneys? Why don't they just do what all the employees at the New York Post did? Why don't they just claim that they're working for an idiot, claim that their boss is an absolute fool, and refuse to go? Just stay there, conduct a sit-in, and if it's good for the New York Post, why isn't it good for the U.S. Justice Department? Just do a sit-in. Do something like they did in the 60s. Just have all these 90 U.S. attorneys fly into Washington and have a sit-in at the Justice Department. I would love that. Of course, these are responsible guys that never do it. But it'd be funny. Buffalo, New York. Back to the phones we go to Ann. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm glad you waited. Thank you.
Wow, this is very exciting.
Thank you very much.
Megadittos from Bill's Country, where we have the courage to try again next year.
Hey, you know, I met Jim Kelly down in Florida at the NFL quarterback club dinner. Nice guy. Very, very, very nice guy. Happy I met him.
Well, I have to say that I really enjoy your show, the radio show, TV show. I read your book. I refer to it when I teach some classes. I'm a school psychologist right now, and I'm on leave taking care of my baby. And last night, the last caller, one of the last callers, talked about OBE, outcome-based education.
Yes.
And there's so many things that I agree with you on, and this one, I have a feeling.
Uh-oh, you disagree with me on OBE, huh?
Yeah, because I don't think...
Okay, hang on. We got a break here, but you can explain to me why when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Dear Hooked on Phonics, I've taught first grade for more than 15 years, and I've had a lot of success with my classes in the past. This year, I brought Hooked on Phonics into my classroom, and I can honestly say that because of Hooked on Phonics, I have the best reading and writing first grade students I've ever taught. Thanks to Hooked on Phonics, my students are hooked on reading. Signed, W.C., Fort Huachuca, Arizona. For Hooked on Phonics plus SRA Reading Laboratories, call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
Good afternoon. At 1:30, it's 55 degrees. I'm Dory Roberts. Only the weather is holding up completion of the more than $200,000 widening and strengthening of the runway at the Goldsboro-Wayne Airport. All the work's been completed except for paving. Barrows Construction Company is waiting for a dry spell of sufficient duration to do that. 12.5 feet have been added to either side of the runway, expanding it to a width of 100 feet. All the lighting's been installed and the airport operation is back to normal. The entire 5,500-foot runway has been strengthened and is to get an additional overlay of asphalt on both the old and new portions. It'll be able to handle much heavier weight classifications of aircraft when that's completed. The man ordered held for contempt of court, also charged with carrying a concealed weapon in the Wayne County Courthouse while his father was being tried, has been released from jail. An official confirmed that 21-year-old Martin Matthew Price of Route 3 LaGrange has been released under serving the 30-day sentence given to him for contempt of court. Deputy Sheriff Bob Morrison spotted what he thought was the imprint of a suspected weapon in Price's pocket, while Price's father was being tried in Wayne Superior Court for assault with intent to kill, causing serious injury to Morrison. Price, along with others, testified as character witnesses for his father. Heating assistance funds from Carolina Power and Light Company's Project Share for the winter that just ended amount to a new record of $767,000. That total is up just slightly from the previous record-breaking amounts raised in the winter of 1991. Wayne County shares in those funds and has done so during the 11 years of the project, during which nearly $6 million has helped pay the home heating costs of needy families in nearly 50,000 households in the service area of the power company in the Carolinas. Charges of possession with marijuana with intent to sell and deliver and the manufacture of marijuana have been lodged by the Goldsboro Wayne Drug Squad against 43-year-old Annette Marie Taylor of Gully Street, Goldsboro. Suspect was placed under a $5,000 secured bond. Goldsboro police were told by Paul Knight of Andrews Avenue that his car ran out of gas in the 500 block of Walnut Street, and when he returned from a gas station, he discovered more than a $400 VCR missing from the vehicle. He just purchased the VCR and told police he apparently left the passenger door unlocked. It's time for our forecast from the Weather Center.
Well, we do expect the rain to begin across the southern part of the area later this afternoon. So in places like Lumberton, Laurinburg, Elizabethtown, and Fayetteville, it should be raining by evening rush hour. Further north, though, the rain will hold off until after dark. Highs 55 to 60 this afternoon. We expect rain heavy at times tonight and the potential for localized flooding. Lows 47 to 51. The rain will taper to drizzle during the day tomorrow, and we could see some breaks in the clouds across the south tomorrow afternoon. Highs 54 to 58. I'm Brian Orzel in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Brian. Right now it's 55 degrees as we return to the Rush Limbaugh Show on WGBR.